I'm so proud to be Haitian because just everything about being Haitian is just awesome.
Everyone know about the history of Haiti, first Black independent country in 1804.
Understanding the history of Haiti, Haitian people, you can't help but be proud of the accomplishment that have happened.
Haitian Americans have done really well in the past few years. There's still a lot more work to be done. Only about 20% of us actually have a bachelor's degree.
I understand firsthand some of the challenges that Haitian American students, graduates, and professionals have faced.
Some of them have overcome incredible adversity.
Both immigrated or asylum seekers or refugees.
There are not that many Haitian-focused scholarships, but like any other award, the NAAHP Leadership Award is providing recognition for one's hard work.
As we know, college is expensive, so this scholarship fund provides the chance for a brighter future.
It felt like the universe was speaking, like I needed the money, I was intrigued, people were telling me to apply.
Going to college or graduate school can be very, very expensive. So donating to a scholarship like this would help that expense be more manageable.
Future generation of leaders, scholars, entrepreneurs,
young adults that are trying to make something of their lives.
They are rock stars. They just need the help, and they need us to help them accomplish it.
There's like this Haitian proverb that says, "Male piece shot palu," many hands make the load lighter.
Log in and you can donate $10, $25, $50.
It makes me think of the Malcolm X quote that education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. It makes me happy to know that our organization is contributing to that goal, preparing others for the future.
Greetings and welcome to College Planning with the National Alliance for the Advancement of Haitian Professionals. I am Dr. Ketsia Sadler, and I'm the founder of College Cafe and your moderator for this webinar series. Before we get started, I want to first thank our partners. Obviously, we have NAAHP, College Cafe, and additional partners in Shokalela, Book It Right Accountancy, Golden V Inc., and Parent Matters. We're thankful to these organizations for being partners in this important information. We're trying to help all you students get out to college, to your career, or whatever it is. And parents, we want to provide information to you. We have a real exciting program this evening, one that I really don't know very much about besides the term and the 4 or 5 branches of the military. So we are thankful to present to you the Careers in the Military webinar this evening. We have 3 great, awesome panelists. And so let me start first by introducing the gentleman who you'll be hearing from this evening. We first have Darius J. Turner, who has served over 8 years in the United States Army, 7 of which have been in special operations, and he currently holds the rank of SSG, Staff Sergeant. SSG Turner enlisted in the U.S. Army in 2014 as Military Intelligence Systems Maintainer, serving in that position for 5 years before reclassifying to become a Civil Affairs Specialist. He is currently serving as a Civil Reconnaissance NCO in the 98th Civil Affairs Battalion, Special Operations Airborne, based out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. SSG Turner is an airborne parachutist and air assault qualified, along with various other military trainings. He has served overseas in multiple countries such as Germany, Niger, Belize, and Paraguay. In his spare time, Darius enjoys time with his family, playing video games, making beats, and flying airplanes. Thank you, SSG Turner. Our next guest is Dielson Gustama. Dielson Gustama is an entrepreneur, real estate investor, and filmmaker who values hard work, dedication, service, and excellence. Dielson is a military veteran, having started his career in the United States Marine Corps, honing his skills in strong leadership, team building, operations strategy, and future year planning. Dielson brings his unique perspectives gained from more than 20 years experience in the public and private sector, managing multi-million-dollar business operations, implementing PMO processes, including portfolio balancing, resource allocation, strategic and investment planning, and portfolio management. He has a master's degree in social and public policy from Georgetown University and a bachelor's from Park University. Welcome, Dielson. And we have Gideon Omagbemi. And Gideon Omagbemi is an analyst employed in Sumitomo Mitsui Striking Corporation's Financial Intelligence Unit. Gideon is also a U.S. Army veteran who worked and deployed as an intelligence analyst that conducted anti-money laundering missions against well-known adversaries of the USA in various trouble spots around the world. Gideon holds an associate's in intelligence operations, a bachelor's in economics, and a master's degree in national security studies. Gideon believes that for anyone looking to start a career or seeking a career change, the U.S. military is a strong contender that offers free training as well as the required experience for many of today's in-demand jobs. Gideon completed the professional culinary program at the International Culinary Center and loves to cook for his family and friends. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me. And the one thing I want to say before we get started is thank you for your service, whether current or past, because without your sacrifices, many of us civilians would not be able to enjoy the freedoms we have domestically and abroad. So thank you for what you have and what you are currently doing. So we really, really appreciate that. So let's get started with the nitty-gritty tonight. So tell us first, how did you decide to join the military? And if you were part of the ROTC in high school or anything like that, or any type of similar program, let us know. Okay, so anybody jump in first.
I think I'll start. So I actually wanted to pursue ROTC, but I actually wanted to join the Air Force at the time. And the school that I was accepted to, St. Peter's University, did not have a partnership with the Air Force at the time. I was only able to pursue the Army. I had very little interest in the Army at the time, but as you can see today, that's where I'm at. And basically, I looked at the different benefits that were afforded to me, and I kind of wasn't serious about school at the time and education at the time. So I figured that it was the best route for me to go. So I went and I enlisted. And I think it paid off because now I'm pursuing my education at a much lower cost than when I had my student loans. So, yeah.
Okay. Next. Either one of you?
Dielson, you want to take the floor? Take the floor.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Gideon. Yeah, so for me, joining the military wasn't necessarily the first option. So in high school, going to college was like the primary traditional route for me to take. But a colleague of mine or a friend of mine gave my name to the recruiter. So literally every day when I got home, the recruiter called at the exact time I was home. I'm not sure it was possible, but he did that literally every day. So I told him, hey, I'll come to the recruiting station in West Palm Beach, just have a conversation, and then from there, I'm gonna see where it goes. But for me, early on, the major factors for me was actually being able to travel and then pay for college. Once those two things were discussed, I was really sold. It also looked like really adventurous, like something cool we can do. Again, I had no history about the Marine Corps. I knew about the Army. I've seen them come to the school and talk to everyone else, but I had literally zero information about the Marine Corps. I do now, so maybe I'll make different decisions back then. But with that said, I mean, the opportunity to live overseas and travel and go to school was the key thing for me, and I was able to do that in the Marine Corps. So I think it worked out really well.
Okay.
All right. So for me, at the time of joining, I had an economics degree, but because in the past I wasn't a legal resident at the time, I was not able to participate in internships that would get me specialization in the particular field I was looking for. So I had a degree; it was broad. And then I had the experience of, experience in healthcare administration, which wasn't matching with my degree when I was applying to, particular type of jobs. So, I was kind of stuck. So what I was looking for was a low-cost opportunity to specialize in a particular field and to get a particular skill set. So the Army offered me the chance to specialize in intelligence and get the needed experience to move up, the ladder in that field. So that's why I joined, because I needed specialization.
Okay. All right. So none of you kind of thought about as little kids, you weren't playing with little army men when you were boys saying, I want to go to the army or the Marines or whichever. Okay. Interesting to see. Because
the funny thing is, actually, I did in the past when I was younger. When I was older, the need, it was kind of different. When I was younger, let me go, shoot something, blow something up.
Okay. All right. Cool. So how has your military involvement changed you, if any? And can you gentlemen comment on that? Or your military career? What has it done for you?
Yeah, I'll go first on that one. Yeah, so I think the military gives you an opportunity, from my perspective, I think it gives you the opportunity to explore and understand yourselves more. So like the more you know yourself, the more you're actually able to extend that or change it. So for me personally, I'm an extrovert. So I like meeting people, I like people. And so being able to travel and meet so many different people was just perfect for me. The military gave me that opportunity. But I also always say, like, in regards to the military, it can also help you learn a lot more independent, gain leadership skills, and obviously gives you, instills some higher level of fitness and discipline as well. And also, I think it also gives you perspective on, gaining perspective, right? The military has definitely taught me personally, they can turn anything to an opportunity. Again, I feel like I've failed so many different ways in the military to helping succeed. So one of my favorite quotes that I like life from Samuel Beckett, it says like, ever try, ever fail, no matter, try again, fail again, fail again, better. And I feel like that's been my experience in the military, where there's so many opportunities where I wasn't able to do something really good, but I had to come back to do it again. And then now I got the experience. And so where I think overall in my life in general, where I've been successful because I failed somewhere before as well. So the military definitely gives you the opportunity to fail. Obviously not all are coming in the military. So you learn to adapt more fit, learn to work as a team, as a unit, right? We're all individuals, but as a team, how do we collectively work together? So I think that's how the military has definitely changed you to think differently. But yeah, I also think that it gives you an opportunity to expand on that, I think, are just natural states you already have. So for me, it's more about being an extrovert and being able to meet different people and adapt. And then any other discipline issues I might have, straighten me out too as well.
Right. Absolutely. Next.
I think for me personally, I look at the military as a wonderful opportunity. For certain people, I've met people coming from various different financial situations or, educational situations that weren't the greatest. And then to see them after that 4 years or however much they serve, the way that they elevated themselves, I think it's a great opportunity to elevate yourself. And also it's kind of like a choose your own adventure, because the military is like a microcosm of the United States. So there's a position doing absolutely everything in the military. I have a cousin who's on the culinary team for her base. So she went to school for culinary school. She couldn't find any work. She ended up joining the military, and now she gets to travel and compete in different culinary competitions. And that's what she does every day for her job. I have other friends that are pilots, that are flying helicopters every day for their job. And it's a great opportunity, as Gideon mentioned, to get yourself that specialty that you're looking for, or get yourself whatever type of training that you may not necessarily be able to afford, or anything like that. So.
Yes, for me, my military involvement has changed me a lot positively. Financially, it's put me in a six-figure career within, with just 3.5 years of experience. It's given me the discipline to be able to wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and operate some overseas opportunities, I'm working on. Like Staff Sergeant Turner said, where else can a 18-year-old coming from Burger King or McDonald's, rub minds with the CIA, with Homeland Security, with the FBI? I mean, you're on the table with these guys. I mean, tell me what organization anywhere else in the world, is going to give you that much opportunity within, that instant. So the military, I always advocated. I have so many examples. Like I had a colleague, we were going through training together, and he was so concerned because he had a high school diploma, maybe a few college credits, and he's married, and he was concerned about life. And fast forward, like after his enlistment, he has a close to a 6-figure job. He has a beautiful home in Virginia. He's he's doing fantastic, and he doesn't have a college degree. So this is part of the reason why the military is a strong option. And he doesn't have any loans. He can go to school with the GI Bill. He's getting a 80K plus job. I mean, he's also going to get paid to go to school. So the military is
No-brainer. Yeah. So the three of you, if you had to do it all over again, would you do anything differently with the military part of your life?
I think research, and reach out to people that you know that have been in the military prior, and kind of get some guidance from them prior to doing that. And they put my email down here. This is my email. You can reach me at darius.j.turner6.mil@mail.mil. I'm more than happy to answer anyone's questions regarding joining the military. And even if you look around, I'm sure certain people may have relatives that are in the military, whether they're distant or not. Just having that person that's going to steer you in the right direction, because like the recruiter is going to tell you the truth, but it may not be. I don't know how to phrase it correctly. So like there's plenty of opportunities, but the way that they may be framing it, it may make it seem like it's on a shorter timeline than it actually is. Because if you sign up to do a specific job or so, then you have to pursue that for a certain amount of time before you can pivot towards another opportunity and things of that nature. So that there may be little intricacies like that. So if I had to do it all over again, I would have done a little bit more research, because there's plenty of programs. There's programs, for example, I'm currently a pilot, private pilot in my personal life. But had I done my research prior, I could have been flying for the military since the day that I signed up. I was under the impression that you needed to come in as an officer to fly, or you needed to go to the Air Force to fly. But all of the branches have some sort of aviation component, and the Army in particular, they take people just with a high school degree, high school diploma, and you can come in, become a pilot. And I've seen many people go that route and then transition while they're in conduct school, get their college credits from their military training, because that's also a thing, and apply those towards their degree. And now they come out of the military with the skill set of being a pilot. They come out with a bachelor's degree, and they go into the airlines, or they go and pursue what they actually want to do, whether it's if it's not a career in the military. So that you can use it as a stepping stone to reach your goals. So.
Yes. Gideon, you started to say something?
Yeah, I definitely I agree with Sergeant Turner. For me, if I had to do it all over again, I would say just join the Air Force, because it's a little bit more laid back. The Army is rough. It's rough, that would be the only change. The Air Force kind of lends. Sometimes we would compare like a first sergeant in the Army and a first sergeant in the Air Force, and you can actually see the wear and tear on the faces of the of the army soldier, of the army army guy, versus the Air Force guy who looks so fresh. So I would just join the Air Force just for longevity in the military.
Okay.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Yeah, I'm not sure I would do it differently, because I think if I would do it differently, I probably won't join the military. So I think it worked out just how it was supposed to. I mean, if I do one thing differently, it would definitely be when I exited the military to spend more time to adjust. Like I jumped right into a career right after the military. It was literally same thing. Going to the military after 2 weeks to graduate high school, I joined the Marines. And then within 2 weeks of leaving the Marine Corps, I started working in a private company in Virginia. And so that it just wasn't enough. So that's one thing. Spend at least several months just adjusting to being a civilian and just enjoy the freedom of not being in the military anymore, and then adjust to a new career and view it that way. But in terms of the military career, again, I said, I think everything happens for a reason. And I think the position that I was in kind of helped me in my current career and the one before. So again, I won't change how it happened, but I would change the time frame it takes when you get out of the military, because that adjustment time is important. So yeah, that's what I would do differently, just the adjustment time.
Okay. So you all have mentioned a lot of the advantages of the military, how you grow, the financial ones, having, 6-figure salary without a degree. Can you think of any other advantages or maybe some disadvantages to military life and or military career?
I think one thing that's an advantage and a disadvantage, every single month you get 2.5 days of leave that accrues. So that's a good thing, because I don't know many civilian jobs that allow you to take paid time off to that scale. However, it's getting the opportunity between training, depending on what your work cycle is set up like, to actually take that, and you have to request it sometimes weeks or even months in advance in order to be able to take advantage of it. So that's the disadvantage of it.
So do they let you accrue those days, or you do have to
Yes.
take each month? Okay.
Yes. So you accrue them. For the Army, it's a maximum of 60 days that you can have accrued. And it depends on your unit, how much you can take at a time. So like me, myself, I'm about to take 2 weeks for my birthday. And, for those 2 weeks, I'm still going to be getting paid as if I was going to work every day. But I'll get to be at home with my family. So nice. I think that's a pro and a con, because I had to request that about 2 months ago. So aside from that, any other disadvantages? I think, so the way that I said it, it's a choose your own adventure. So if you don't do the proper research, you could end up putting yourself in a position that you may not enjoy. So like if you don't do enough research on the job or the field that you're going into, you're there for whatever amount of time that you signed your contract for that job. So that oftentimes when you see people that have like a negative perception of their service in the military, it was a situation like that. Like they signed up to do something that they really weren't passionate for. So I would say that could be a disadvantage to it. But the advantage of it is, you got that training for free. And if you do it right, you can end up having a lot of free time and end up being able to pursue what your actual goals are. Like I said, it's a microcosm of everything. So like, if you want to be a nurse like yourself, there's nursing programs in all the branches. There's USHIS, which is the med school. It's a med school. I just found out about this program, actually. It's a med school, 100% paid for by the military. You get paid while you're going there as a lieutenant, and then you come out of it as a doctor in whatever branch sponsored you to go. And the only requirement to go is to have your bachelor's degree completed. Any bachelor's, they take you and you go into their med school. So yeah, there's multiple advantages, honestly.
Okay. Anyone else want to comment?
Dielson, go ahead.
Yeah. So, thanks. Yeah. For me, I feel like it's based on the kind of what Darius mentioned. It's based on the individual situation, right? If you want to be a physician, you know, there's steps for that, and based on your career. So for me personally, again, traveling was a really important thing, and so I thought it was really beneficial that I was got travel. Yet that travel can also be a disadvantage, right? So if you have a family and you're traveling every 2 years, that becomes a really disadvantage, right? You're not able to be around your family as much, and also depending on where you're in, you're not able to bring your family. So again, I think that advantage based on your situation. If you're single and you don't have a family, it's great. But if you have a family and you're not with them for several months, if not years, can become definitely disadvantage. And again, as Darius mentioned, something you realize why I don't like the military, right? Because of your situation, but advantage for other people as well. So for me, it was positive, it was an advantage. That's what I wanted to do. But if I had probably be more challenging, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, so for me, I kind of have like two disadvantages, but you have to like walk through those. So the first one is, I mean, a lot of people do ask, am I gonna die if I join the military? And individually, one has to answer that question for themselves and overcome, that fear. And what I know in life is that, always walk in the direction of your fear. And then, you'll be surprised, how you get so much, growth out of it. So that's what I would advise to people considering the military and having concerns about death. The second disadvantage is it's more of a reality check. It's not really so much of a disadvantage. Like while in the military, we do get TA, which is tuition assistance, and I think I may be wrong. Maybe it's about $2,000 to $4,000 a year, and you get to use that. Yeah, you get to use that while you're active duty. But the reality check with that is, depending on the type of unit you're in and how busy it is, and then the kind of job you have, it may be tough to go to school after work. Mm-hmm. Like for my job at my unit, it was like a 9 to 5, like steady. So it was easy to use my tuition assistance after work. Mm-hmm. But you have other jobs and units where you're probably out in the field for 2-3 weeks, and when you come back, you're exhausted and you have like an essay due. So you have to, if you're a high school student and college student, you have to really, be on top of it. You have to be very disciplined and focused to get that, benefit of the TA while in the military. Although you can still use your GI Bill after the military if it's too stressful. So if it's not too stressful, you can use your TA while you're in the military, and you still use your GI Bill after you're done.
Got it. Okay.
And I wanted to caveat off of that the tuition assistance thing. You going back to the planning aspect of it. You don't have to join and be active duty military to get some of these benefits. You can join the National Guard or the Reserve, where you're only, being a soldier for 1 week in a month and, a week in the summer and stuff. And you still get similar benefits. You still get TA as well. You still can get the GI Bill. And it's more flexible. So maybe that would be one thing I might have done different. I would have done a little bit more research into the part-time side of the military to take advantage of the benefits.
Okay, well, that's good to know, because I always wondered what the difference was between being in the reserves and active duty, and it's good to know that either one of them will provide you those academic supports or financial academic support. So that's very good to know. Very, very good to know. So I was going to ask the question on any pitfalls to avoid, but we've kind of talked about some of them: not doing your research, not planning. So anything else you can think of that students should avoid? And then also kind of segue into my other question, which is it better to join right after high school, or should you wait and go after college? So your thoughts on that? Any pitfalls, and should you come right out of high school or wait till college? Pitfalls to avoid, I should say.
So, like I had mentioned with the going the reserve or guard, there's a program called SMP, Simultaneous Membership Program, where you join the National Guard as a soldier, but then you're also in ROTC, and they will basically give you a scholarship that it depends on the scholarship that you get based on your state and what they're offering at the time. But some people can get a full ride. And then now, rather than being a soldier, you'd be an officer in the military. And officers make significantly more money than enlisted do. I think all three of us can attest to that. And it's just a slightly better quality of life going that route. So, I mean, I wouldn't say either or. Either or is solid as long as you have a plan.
Yeah. So in terms of pitfalls, essentially you mentioned the financial aspect in terms of being enlisted, is being an officer. So I think kind of the key pitfalls to me is all the budgeting aspect. Being a young Marine or Army man, it's just the issues that when you're a really young junior person, to watch your finances, right? Because you'll see a E1 or E2 with the latest new vehicle, and you know how much they make per month, right? So like those are kind of the key pitfalls to learn how to budget, right? So so don't buy the most expensive vehicle with all the cool technologies. Like, don't do that, right? TVs that's can't afford, and you're going to chaw every week, right? So that was the first thing. And then also retirement. Being in the military right off the back, you're invested. You can actually put money into retirement. And some people kind of delay that for some reason, but that's really important. So definitely start putting money into your TSB account. And then also watch your credit habits, right? Because, if you do get out of the military, those things do follow you, right? And so those things are really, really important. So by the time you get out of the military, you have money saved, and you can actually start off in a better situation financially. So that's the thing I would say. And then also you mentioned another question about joining after school or college. Again, there's planning for what you want to do. And so I think if you're really strategic, you can either join as enlisted just to actually get the experience. And then after 4 years, you and do that, or even get out of the military after 4 years, and do something different and come back in. So there are options, and there's so many resources in terms of like the job bill and everything else. So it's based on the situation that you're in. So for me personally, I think going to high school is beneficial just because you don't have any loans, and so you can go to school while you're in the military if you have time. As Gideon mentioned, it's just so difficult to go to school when you're in the military unless you have a really decent job that gives you the opportunity. Again, it's also a mental thing too. You need to have the mental fortitude to be able to physically work all day and then go and then study and then pass your test. So it's really challenging. So it's kind of like adults who go to school after work and have a family. And then, so to me also, again, joining the military is beneficial too as well. Or you're more mature by then, right? And so you're able to actually take advantage of all these things we're talking about this whole time too as well. And so again, it depends on the person's situation. But personally, I think, joining right away, as I mentioned earlier, gives you the discipline right away, right? Work hard, save. And so I can see the benefits of both.
Okay, great.
Okay, so the pitfalls to avoid while in the military is indiscipline, being get into trouble, um, sexual harassment. You know, you don't want to do things that is gonna follow you the rest of your life. That's gonna deny you benefits after you're done in the military or have a bad record. Because a lot of time if you tell employers that you came from the military, they want to know what type of discharge you have. And if you have honorable discharge, you're good. But I'm not sure of the other categories how it works, but at least you want an honorable discharge. That means you're sailing good. So you have to be very careful about your temperament. How you do things. It's not like in the movies where you're going all full Rambo and all that kind of stuff. This is literally your life is on the line. In terms of joining without a degree or college degree, like everyone else has said, the military actually does provide options for between high school level, having a high school diploma, having some college credits, having a college degree. So, it really depends on what the individual is looking for. If you're looking to get into something right now, you're coming from high school, you have the opportunity to do that. If you have college credits, you can get into like there are a lot of programs that take you with college credits. I kind of listed a few. There's like medical is kind of hot right now, so there's like you get to like PT programs, physical therapy, respiratory therapist. If for high school diploma, you get them with like IT. You get into like supply logistics. You get into electrical, like electrician. You get into carpentry. You get like a vehicle mechanic. And if you have a college degree, you could get a specialization like I needed. And then the other question is, if you're going into a college degree, do you want to, are you looking to become maybe mid-level manager, top-level management? Then, the officer route would definitely give you a lot of confidence. You have the confidence to lead an organization, to lead people. So it really, really depends on the individual knowing what they want to achieve with their life. Not that it's not sometimes not everyone is joining the military knowing what they want to do. They can fall into it and figure it out from there. That's definitely open as well. But that person has to be open to whatever comes their way. And that's all I have on that.
Okay. So I'm going to ask another question. You kind of mentioned it when you said that the Air Force people look not as tired as the Army folks. So is there a branch that's better than another? Better? Or
Air Force.
Maybe there's a different word you can use for it.
Yeah. It's a running joke in the Army, like go Air Force, go Air Force, go Air Force. Just because the Air Force is they just what like in the Army, like when they send us on like trainings or some minor TDYs, we sit in nice hotels. They put the Air Force guys in, and they put us in some Army standard rundown place. I mean, like, damn, and their life is just more almost like civilian-like. There's more respect between like the officers and the enlisted. You just get treated better, and sometimes it can contribute to longevity in the military. You can tend to stay longer in that kind of environment in the in the Air Force. But that's just me.
I think it depends on what exactly you're trying to do. So the Army's the biggest. So the Army's going to have the most opportunities. If you're like me and you have a new idea for what you want to do with your life every week, the Army will be able to cater to that versus some of the smaller branches like the Marine Corps or the Air Force. where it's a little bit more rigid. But as far as quality of life, I think I'd probably have to rank Air Force #1, only because I know for a fact that when they are TDY is like a temporary training. When they're temporary training at a military facility or on a military base, they get paid extra money for having to be in our conditions. And our conditions, at times, those will be nice. In my opinion, I'm like, oh, this is, a pretty nice hotel. And, but their standard of living is definitely much higher. So.
Who would have thought that? That's very interesting. Now coming from a female perspective, I always thought that the Marines had the nicest uniform, like when they had the weddings with the swords and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, Marines is good. I don't think I could have made it in any branch because the boot camp I'd have been out. They'd have been like, you gotta go, Ketsia, you gotta go. But I want to segue and ask a question now. So Darius, you're still currently in the military. And Gideon and Dielson, you guys are vets. So what prompted you to leave? What's keeping you there? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. So, for me,
yes.
Sorry. Okay, so originally, when I came to the U.S., I was about 16. I met a lot of recruiters, but I wasn't able to join at the time because, I wasn't legal at the time. So fast forward, many years later, I was in a particular place in life where I didn't want to be, but I was 34. So I joined at 34. I got out almost 4 years later. Only because, at that age is when, people are mostly retiring in the Army. And I was older. So, I didn't, sometimes it was, I'm like 30, almost 38, and I'm enlisted, and I have a master's degree, but I'm treated like a 2-year-old that doesn't know what they're doing. It was kind of frustrating, I needed to, be somewhere where I could, utilize everything, all the experience I have and everything. So for me, it was that's why I left, because I joined older. If I was younger, I would have stayed much longer.
Okay. All right. Dielson, you want to jump in now?
Yeah. I want to talk about one thing too. So you mentioned the best branches. So I was going to say, obviously, the Marines, because it's so small, but that was the inside joke. But yeah, the Marine Corps is really small, and it's just different. And I think it depends what branch you're. I mean, look too. Kind of what Darius mentioned. The Army is so large. There's so many opportunities, and so actually, that's kind of the answer to my other question. I mean, that's your other question. In terms of why I exited the military, the same answer really is more. So actually, this is happening in other organizations. So there are people leaving federal service for other opportunities or more opportunities with skill set that they have within the military or within federal government. And so I think it's kind of similar to, I thought I had more opportunities outside the military. And so I think that happens, especially too, when the economy's getting better. So you assume we have more opportunities. And so, but again, it depends what your plans are. I had a goal early on that I would do one tour. I would get my education and travel the world. And I was able to do all those things. And so because of it, I accomplished my goal. So I exit because of those purposes, other opportunities outside of the military.
Okay. And I see, in your filmmaking career, I guess it probably wouldn't have been supported as much as a Marine. It probably would have been harder to do what you wanted to do as an entrepreneur, I would guess as well.
But kind of what Darius mentioned, any type of there's there in the military. So again, in high school or before high school, I was in a band. So the Marine Corps band is one of them. Again, it's really amazing. The marching bands, and so anything of them, obviously the freedom and the ability to be more independent is something different. So yeah, filmmaking is something I'm doing now. I was just Castle in Haiti, a documentary that we're making about just the beauty of Haiti in general. But if you want to be a filmmaker, I mean, if you want to get into an environment where you're, because again, we have channels of people who broadcast on a regular basis too as well. So you can definitely get those skill sets in the military and transition that into a career. And again, the military is going to pay for you to go to school. So you want to go to medical, I mean, you go to the school to be a filmmaker, they'll pay for that too as well. You want to be a pilot, as Darius mentioned, they'll pay for that too as well. And there's so many programs that are able to support that too. And so yeah, again, for me, it was more, I thought I had more opportunities, but the military definitely gave me a lot of opportunities to see. I wanted opportunities outside the military.
For me, like I mentioned before, I have difficulty making up my mind. So every week, I'm still learning about the military. So that's why I say research is very important, because every week I find out about something new. And I'm like, you know what? I think I could do that. And that sounds kind of cool. So maybe I'll try that. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why I'm still here. In addition to, I joined when I was 19. I am turning 27 this Sunday. And by the time I am 39, I'll have a pension from doing 20 years of service. So if I didn't want to work again after being, my 39th birthday or my 20th year of service, I wouldn't have to. And the way that I've positioned myself and maneuvered through my career, I'm in a pretty good spot. Like, this is what I wore to work today. Just some athletic gym clothing. And I have a pretty decent quality of life. And in addition to that, just a caveat off of what Dielson mentioned about being a filmmaker or wanting to do something that doesn't seem like a traditional military job. There's something in the Army. I don't know if the other branches have it, but we have all Army teams, which is basically different athletic teams. So there's like competitive weightlifting. There's an all Army basketball team. There's a rugby team. There's even a esports team. They play like, World of Warcraft and like the different computer games. And they're in the Army getting paid to play video games. So all those different opportunities that I keep hearing about, that's what's keeping me here. And family as well. I have young children, so the healthcare benefits that I get, it just makes the most sense for me right now.
Okay, that is good. This has been awesome so far. So we're going to take a quick break for a very short video, and then we'll come back with questions from the audience, and we'll continue with some more questions and discussion.
Hi, welcome. My name is Sophia Renville, the Director of Scholarship Program at the National Alliance for the Advancement of Haitian Professionals, NAAHP. It's a nonprofit organization committed to provide educational and professional opportunities to Haitian professionals. Every day we strive to make an impact by empowering the Haitian community through scholarships, mentorship, networking, and other career opportunities. Would you like to help us in this cause? All you need to do is to create an account on Amazon Smile and select the National Alliance for the Advancement of Haitian Professionals as your charity. And Amazon will automatically send us a small donation for every purchase you make at no cost to you. Creating an account on Amazon Smile is super simple. Just go to smile.amazon.com. Tap on the Get Started button, then click on the Create Your Amazon account at the bottom. Enter your name, email address, select a password, and tap on Create Your Amazon account. So solve the puzzle and then verify your account by using one-time password you will receive in your inbox. After that, add your phone number for safety, and boom, you have successfully created your account. Now, the most important step is to type in the search bar, National Alliance for the Advancement of Haitian Professionals. Then select NAAHP as your charity. Tap on the box that says, yes, I understand, and then click on Start Shopping. That's it. You successfully added NAAHP to your charity. Just make sure to always start shopping at smiles.amazon.com. Thank you for your support. Let's create a better future together.
Okay, so we are back. So we had one question so far from the audience, or our virtual audience, and they were asking about the aspect of women in the military. So can any of you speak to that? How is it for ladies when they decide to join either of your branches?
So in the Army in particular, there's been a lot of changes that I think are really good for women, in particular minority women, because previously things such as hairstyles were a big issue. You had to have your hair in like a tight bun, and with minority women, a lot of times it's our hair is of a different texture than the majority of the other people in the service. So that kind of led to some discrimination in the past, and they've got rid of all of that. So now you could have dreads, you can have braids. They did a couple of things such as allowing women to wear earrings because that wasn't a thing before, and certain colors of nail polish as well. So I think all of that definitely helped. Like Gideon had mentioned, there's different programs in place to protect not only women, but just everyone in the military, like the SHARP program, which is the sexual harassment and rape prevention program. So that's in place. There's the EO program, Equal Opportunity, to protect, all types of minorities in the different protected categories. So I think the military is a very inclusive place, and every day they're striving to become more and more inclusive. So, yeah.
Yeah, and the military just passed. It had to do with more time off after having a baby. I was following that in the news recently, and more time to recover from. I can't remember the word, but usually some women experience like a depression after giving birth. Yeah, so they give
postpartum depression.
Yes. There's more time to recover from that, and also gives you, like, after childbirth, more time to get back into physical shape, and also with the understanding that the female body changes, and there's leeway for that. So the military has changed from the past, the army. Well, I would say the whole military anyway, but it's more like understanding and understanding the needs of the woman in the military, and doing its best to cater to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely second. I joined the military in 2000, so things have changed drastically in the last 20 years or so in terms of how women are treated, and also even how the men are treated too as well, in terms of especially in terms of mental health, right? So I think those changes have been beneficial overall, and so going back to resources, there's a plethora of additional resources that we are able to actually get those support while we're in the military, also while we're out of the military too as well, and so. I think the military has made a lot of strides thus far, and there's also room for improvement. But again, from my perspective, the last 20 years, I've seen those changes, and that also involves women in leadership positions and enlisted in officers as well.
Okay. So let me ask the question about boot camp. So I know that's difficult. Are there differences in what the women are expected to do as opposed to the guys, or is it across the board, whether you're male, female, whatever? If everyone's got to do 100 push-ups, you got to do 100 push-ups, or do they have differences in that?
So for the Army, we actually just introduced a new PT test, and it's been in development for, I want to say, the past 3 years. And the reason why it's taken so long is because they wanted it to be like standardized across the genders. So one thing that they had us doing in the PT test was a leg tuck, which is basically holding yourself up on a pull-up bar and bringing your knees to your elbows. And what they realized is that because of the differences in anatomy between men and women, this was kind of difficult for women to achieve similar scores who were doing similar in all the other events. So they could lift just as much as the men, do as much push-ups, run as fast, but the leg tuck, it just wasn't a good exercise based on like the hips and stuff. I don't remember the exact science. So they actually changed it to a plank now. That way it's an even playing field so that when they look at those scores, you know, they see, they can get a good picture of the soldier regardless of gender. So that's what's being implemented right now at basic training for anyone that joins. But when I joined in the past, there was a separate standard for men and women, and it's also based on age as well. So.
Okay. Gideon, Dielson, you guys want to comment on that at all?
No, I second what you mentioned. I think the Marine Corps is different, though. They do, well, again, that changes well recently. I think there's some changes that happen in the Marine Corps in terms of the requirement for men and women. Then sit-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups. I think changed recently, too, where I think they modified to where women are now required to do pull-ups and that kind of stuff. So I think those things have changed. I'm not sure specifically what the changes are. But back then when men will do pull-ups and then the women would do chin holds. But I know that's changed as of late, but I don't remember what those specific things are.
Okay.
Well, nothing to add from me. I think Sergeant Turner pretty much covered a lot of that.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about prior to coming on the broadcast, you guys mentioned the GI Bill. So let's talk about that for people like me who don't know what it is and for our audience. Let's talk about the GI Bill, the benefits, advantages, disadvantages, what it can do for you.
All right, so I'll talk on GI Bill because I've been actively using it and I'm currently using it. So GI Bill, basically now they call it the Forever GI Bill because they changed the rules to ensure that once you're out of active duty, at least this is for active duty. I'm not sure about how the reservists and the National Guard's situation works, but active duty, once you're out, you can take forever to decide you want to go to school, and whenever you decide you're ready to go to school, you have your GI Bill benefits available for you ready to use. In the past, it used to be like a 10-year time limit, but they canceled that. So the good thing about the GI Bill is that it covers the cost of education up until a certain level, up until a certain limit. Like I was able to go to culinary school. I've always wanted to do that. My tuition was about $39,000, and GI Bill covered everything. And they did take part of my BAH out of it just a little bit, but it covered everything, which was amazing. And this is like a top program in New York City. So the good thing is that you have like at least 36 months of GI Bill. You could do whatever program you want to go, whatever you want to study, you could go ahead and do it. But the really awesome thing is that, the GI Bill pays you to go to school. Like in addition to paying for school and paying for, a portion of your books and stuff, they pay you based on where you're living, the cost of living for wherever you're going to school. So if you're going to school in Texas and they see that the average cost of living in Texas is about $2,100 a month, they pay you that every month while you're in school. If you happen to be in New York, you're going to get like about $3,500 a month. And imagine if you're getting $3,500 a month for 36 months. If you do the math, that's about $144,000 tax free. Now imagine what you could do with $144,000. You want to put it in real estate, you want to put it in this. It's a way to create wealth. It's a wealth creating mechanism if you're smart enough. I have people on LinkedIn who've used the GI Bill to start companies, like, you know, tech companies. Who've done amazing stuff with the GI Bill. So that's another wonderful part of the Army. And a lot of things that people don't know is that when you leave the military, if you get a disability rating, there's another program where if you use 35 months of your GI Bill and you have 1 month left, if you come out of the military with a disability, that program gives you another 3 years, another 36 months to continue schooling. So, and it gives you at the same, you know, it just covers everything, just like the GI Bill. So you have another like $144,000 again to save up. Tell me what organization is going to give you like up to $300,000 tax free. You can build so much wealth with it. So that's why I'm saying the military is awesome, and that's what I have on the GI Bill.
Yeah, and what you mentioned earlier, so basically that's the voc rehab, so vocational rehabilitation. Basically, if you had any injuries during the military and you can go to the VA, ensure that those things are documented, and you get reviewed. And if you're at a certain threshold, in terms percentage-wise, you can use that also for additional things. That can include either if you're 100% disabled, can help you with building a house to make sure it's compatible for you, your family, or it's not at that level, but you need additional assistance in terms of starting a career, has been adapting to whatever job you're interested in, right? So you do an assessment based on your skills, ability, and you can go to school for that as well. And they'll give you money to go to school to get that skill set. Again, also paid to adjust if need be. Again, all through the VA. So those are all beneficial things that you can do. But also, based on the GI Bill, there are programs now where you can go to an Ivy League school, and they'll pay for that too. Again, the tuition for those schools are a lot, but they're I think it's the red ribbon, the red, what's called the
yellow ribbon.
I think it's called the red something, yellow ribbon program. And so that program you can go to Harvard. Yep. You can go to any of those schools, and because of the cost is so high, the government will pay for parts of it, and then the school will have an agreement to pay the rest. And so those have been really used the last 10 years. And again, I took advantage of that myself, right? So I think it's really beneficial. So again, keep saying over and over, if you really have a really good plan in terms of how your career is going to go, option, you can use the military for that. If it doesn't work out, you start another career. So there's, when he's almost 40, he can start another career in anything he wants, and he has a pension, right? So you can become a filmmaker, become a real estate, but you can do whatever you want, and he's 40, he has a pension and 20 years of experience. That is, it's a really good opportunity to do those things.
So like everyone else has mentioned, the GI Bill, in my opinion, is awesome because there's things that, again, I'm still learning. I didn't even know you could do with it. As far as being a pilot, becoming a pilot's very expensive. And I think as of 2020, the average cost to become a pilot, like at the commercial level to fly at the airlines, is about $100,000. And that's not counting getting your degree. That's just for your flight training. You can use the GI Bill to pay for that 100%. So whatever the cost of tuition is at your university, whether that's $20,000 a year, the GI Bill will pay. I believe it's the highest in-state public school tuition. So it varies by state. So based on the state that you're in, whatever the most expensive public university is there, the GI Bill will pay at that level. But then also like Dielson mentioned, a lot of the private universities have the yellow ribbon program. Well, they'll match that amount that's given for your GI Bill. So it ends up that you can go to pretty much any school you want to and not only get your tuition and books paid for, but your fees as well. So like in my scenario, I have flight fees for the degree I'm pursuing. I just had $7,000 that I got paid for, and just GI Bill. So I'm actually making money going to school. Every single semester, I make money. I get a refund check from using my TA and my GI Bill in different combinations. So GI Bill is awesome. And the BH is awesome as well. But you can't, when you're on active duty using your GI Bill, you can't get the BH. So that's one downside to me using it right now, because I'm already receiving BH from the military. I can't get it twice. But if I were to get out and then use my GI Bill to pursue my degree or what have you, then I would get the BH based on where my school is located. So.
Okay, that's good to know. I like that you all are mentioning the financial piece, because as I've said, College Cafe is totally about paying the least amount out of your pocket for your education. And so if you want to pay nothing, then here's an opportunity to pay absolutely nothing for your education. So I'm going to throw another question out, since we are still almost coming out of COVID. Were there any effects to the military, to your branch, as a result of the pandemic? Did you find that your responsibilities have to change, or did your branch have to make any changes for the recruits, the members of it? Or if not, then no.
They didn't have to do the gas chamber at basic training because of COVID. So I would say COVID would have been the perfect time to join the military.
Can you talk about what the gas chamber is, or can you not say?
Oh no, I can
you
talk
don't
about
know what it is.
It's there's a day at basic training about halfway through where they want you to gain confidence in your equipment, specifically your protective mask, your gas mask that you're issued. So they bring you into a small cement room, and they have CS gas. It's the same gas that police use to disperse riots, and they have it, and there's a fan spraying, and you're wearing your gas mask, and you feel it like on your neck and on your skin and stuff, and you're like, okay, I'm still breathing. This is working. This is helping. Then they have you take the mask off. And when you remove the mask, you see why it's utilized by the police, because it's very effective at making you want to leave that area. But yeah.
Yeah, I was out of the military before COVID hit, so I don't have any comment on that.
They did.
I mean,
oh, sorry.
No, go right there. Sorry, I said same thing for the Gideon. I don't have additional information for that either. But yeah, again, this is a whiff. Is all you need to get real.
So one thing that did end up happening was the military began to telework a lot more, and that was actually how I got into flying. Was because of COVID. So that was when I started to go back to school. Because my schedule opened up a lot, and they kind of adapted and learned from that. So my unit in particular, they were like, okay, we made this work without having people here all day. Let's see if we can get people out doing, some of the things that they want to do in their personal lives. So I think it was a blessing in disguise for that in particular. Yeah.
Okay. So a fun question with the travel or being deployed somewhere, what's the favorite place that you went? If we can even use that word, is there a place that you went that you actually enjoyed, even though you were working or part of the military?
Okay, I guess I'll start. So I was based. My first duty station was in Wiesbaden, Germany, and Wiesbaden, Wiesbaden is a cool spot, as you know. It's it's basically Frankfurt is like the main hub in it's like kind of like New York City, Germany. But Wiesbaden is like it's like it's a nice cool hub, and then from there in 2 hours you're in Belgium, in 2 hours you're in maybe 4 hours you're in Amsterdam, 4 hours you're in Paris, 4 hours you're in Croatia. So we got to really explore a lot of Europe. And the cool thing was that when you're deployed when you're stationed overseas, you get like I can't remember what it's called now, but at least once a month you have like a 4-day weekend, and you could you just tell you to get out, like go out and explore, go do stuff. So that was awesome. And then when I was in the Middle East, in IUD or Qatar, it was more restricted because you are in the Middle East, but you're able to like still do limited stuff, and you see all around like Qatar and stuff. And then Afghanistan, I mean, you can't really go sightseeing in Afghanistan like that, but it was nice. We got to travel and do stuff.
I can go next. So my first dual station was Okinawa, Japan, and so I got the opportunity to go to Australia, around Gold Coast, for a tandem trust operation that's being the Australian military and the Marine Corps, and so I think that's probably my favorite trip, really. Right, I'm still working, but I think that's probably my favorite place to visit that to my career. And I've been to Europe as well. I've been in different places, but I think Australia is probably my favorite place that I visited.
I think for me, I found a way to have fun everywhere I've been so far, honestly. And kind of to sidetrack, I completely slipped my mind, but I actually get paid for speaking Creole in the military because of my job, and I had an opportunity. I was away at a different training at the time, but when I remember, was it the hurricane in 2012 or was it a tropical storm? It was like August.
Do you mean Superstorm Sandy up in New Jersey? There was
no.
Like 12. Oh.
No, it was in 21, I believe, in Haiti. In Haiti.
Oh. I can't think of the name, but I know which one you're talking about. I don't remember.
But I was tasked at the time to actually go to Haiti. So that would have been a good opportunity to be able to go back to where my my family's from and help out. But I didn't get a chance to do that. They ended up sending another team out there. But I think most fun was probably Germany. I'd have to agree. Germany was pretty fun, exploring Europe and stuff.
Okay, well, I haven't been to Germany. That's on my list. I definitely want to go to Australia because I love koala bears. So I'd like to go and visit them. I'm not going to join the military to do it, though. I'm too old. I'm past that age. So,
no, you're never too old. You go with your PhD. They'll take you.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'll let the younger people enjoy that. So, gentlemen, any other parting information that might have come to mind as we were talking that you want to share with our viewers?
Yes. Some advantages, which I actually wrote down, is you acquire skill sets. You get the required experience to go with these skill sets. You get security clearances based on your job, and that alone, opens so many doors. You get what is called a veteran's preference when it comes to applying to jobs. That is, you get a preference, like, you get like a boost, a hiring boost that gives you an edge against, people that aren't civilians. And this just happened to one of my friends. She, I was able to refer her to my job, and they did give her a preference because she's female and she's a veteran. And then one thing that was just passed into law was that federal jobs don't require degrees anymore. They just take you based on your experience. So a lot of the time, because when you're in the military, you're busy, and you may not be able to get your degree in the military, but that experience you have is valuable, and it translates to so many federal agencies and so many federal agencies that they take you with your experience. So the military it's awesome. It's just awesome.
The VA loan. The VA loan is definitely an amazing advantage of being in the military. For those that don't know, the VA loan allows you to purchase a home putting zero down. Normally when you purchase a home, you have to put, I think 20% is the average amount. And if you do less than that, then you have to get mortgage insurance. But what the VA does is they guarantee that 20% of your purchase price for you. So they're basically saying, this person can purchase this house with zero down because they're in the military, and we're going to guarantee that 20%. That doesn't preclude you from paying for the full amount of the house. You pay the full amount, but you just don't need to have that down payment in order to put against that. And speaking of investing, I know plenty of people, myself included, who have leveraged their VA loan in order to invest. Like I have 2 houses. I have the one that my family stays in, and then another that we previously lived in that I'm now renting out. And there's plenty of people that go and use their VA loan to buy multifamily homes and leave the military with like a whole real estate investment portfolio just off of leveraging that. So yeah, the VA loan is definitely awesome.
That's great. Yeah, so for me, the only thing I would like to add, so I know we're talking about people who are planning their career in the military, and so either join the military or leaving the military, but also there's so many resources out there now. Like there are people who have skills in IT and don't have a degree, right? And so if you're in the military, you're just not sure what you want to do, and try college, right? There's money in there, but if not, you can prepare while you're in the military. Again, anything you want to learn, YouTube, right? You want to be a programmer, you can learn to be a programmer in 6 months on YouTube, right? So like, again, there's so many opportunities. You just got to take the effort to put into your own career. So if you're in the military, not happy, then great. You can get out and take those things with you. And again, YouTube or any other free resources. I think even if you're in the military, I think before LinkedIn bought this company, if you're in the military, you can actually get free courses, right? So there are so many free resources out there. Just if you're in the military or out of the military, you can just find these resources to help you. And so I would say if you're in the military, definitely take time to really think about what you want to do and find that. Then again, we can reach out to people on this call.
Well, thank you so much. I have learned a lot this evening. Things that I would have never thought about. So I really want to thank you, gentlemen, for taking the time to share, because that's what we're all about, trying to get information out to those who don't know it. And knowledge is power. And you dropped some amazing gems tonight. So I really want to thank you again. Darius J. Turner, Dielson Gustama, Gideon Omagbemi. Your time was, can't put a price on what you shared with everyone who's watching tonight. So on behalf of the NAAHP and our other partners, Book It Right Accountancy, Shokarela, Parent Matters, and Golden V. I want to thank you again for joining us and sharing your information. To those of you who are watching, hope you got some information. Please reach out to our guests to get more information to help you make your life-changing decision. And so hope everyone has a great night, and thank you for joining us. See you next time.